Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Cooking for the Family. I'm Dyvonne and today I'm going to share with you some Rice Krispie treats. I'm going to be making some Rice Krispie treats, some sugar cookies that I'm going to cut out. I'm going to decorate those as well. I'm making these treats for Halloween, for right before Halloween, for my little nephews that are coming over. And when they come over to Auntie's house, I always got to have a little something for them. And so this is for them. They're only going to be here for a little bit. And so this is something they can enjoy and also they can take with them. So first I'm getting my sugar cookie. And these are going to be printed out cookies or cut out cookies rather. So far in my bowl, I have 1.5 cups. That was 1.5 cup measure of unbleached all-purpose flour. Then to that, I also put in some salt. That was 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now this recipe can be doubled. I'm making more of a small batch of cookies for them. And you can also make different variations of flavor with this cookie dough as well. I've used it to make different flavors and I'll share more with you about that. And so I also put in some baking powder, and the baking powder I put in 3/4 teaspoon. Our cookies are going to have a little lift to them, but then when they settle perfectly and they make great to make decorations on with these cookies. So I'm going to be using some butter, and I prefer to use salted butter, but you can also use unsalted butter as well. So I put in there 1 stick, which was 1/2 cup, and then I also put in 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. We're going to blend this until the butter and sugar combine well. The sugar cuts into the butter and it becomes a nice paste. That's what we're looking for. Now I have my egg. I'm using 1 large egg and my egg is at room temperature. And you see, this is what you want your butter and your sugar to look like once they've mixed and blended together. This is going to make a great base for our cookies. Our cookies come out delicate. They come out nice and tender, and this is the same dough. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but this is the same dough that I also use when I make my Christmas cookies. In the description box below, I'll put a link to my Christmas cookies that I do, my holiday cutouts. That is something, these cookies and this dough, I've been making them for at least a couple of decades now. So about 20 years that I've been using this dough and I absolutely love it. And so that's what you want it to look like once you've blended your eggs, your butter, and your sugar. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in my dry ingredients. And remember, our dry ingredients are the flour, the baking powder, and the salt. I'm not using baking soda, I'm using baking powder, okay? And so I go ahead and I scoop a little bit at a time. I scoop it into the base of the butter, the sugar, and the eggs. I also had put in there vanilla extract. The vanilla extract I used was 1/2 teaspoon. Now when it comes to these cookies, you can use vanilla extract, and that's what I normally use. I sometimes also use some almond extract as well. If you want to change these cookies up, you can use lemon extract. You can also use peppermint extract. So you see what I mean when you can really change the flavoring that you put into this cookie, because it's a really the traditional standard sugar cookie recipe, and you can just change your flavors up depending on the taste that you want to get from your dough. I've gone ahead and I put my dough inside some plastic wrap. You want to flatten it out just like I'm doing. Fold up the sides, and we're going to go ahead and put it in our refrigerator to chill. You want to chill your dough for at least 4 hours. 6 hours is better. So I'm doing this first thing in the morning, so when I see the boys later on this evening. And so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the refrigerator so the dough can chill up nicely. You can also chill it overnight as well. So our dough has been chilling for a few hours now. It's time for me to start on the Rice Krispie treats and get those going. Now normally I would be doing this with my nephews, but like I was mentioning, we're going to be kind of limited on our time when they come over, so it's going to be rather a quick visit. I'm using a 9-ounce box of Rice Krispies, and the pack of marshmallows was a 10-ounce pack of marshmallows. That's going to be enough for our recipe. So for the Rice Krispies, you need 6 cups. The 9-ounce box will give you the 6 cups, and then the 10-ounce pack of marshmallows, of mini marshmallows, is going to give you the 5.5 cups of mini marshmallows that you need. So in my pot, I have 3 tablespoons of butter, and I'm using salted butter. I like using salted butter because the recipe does not call for any salt, and the salted butter really helps to bring out that buttery flavor and taste in the Rice Krispie treats. So once the butter is melted, I add in the 5½ cups of mini marshmallows. I started my pot on medium and then I turned it down to low because we don't want our marshmallows to scorch. We don't want our butter to start to burn or brown up on us. So we want to have a nice low flame. Then let your marshmallows just kind of nice and dissolve and melt. And this is what it's going to look like. Now I know some of you have made Rice Krispie treats and some of you have not, but making them yourself, they're easy to make. They come out really nice, especially using that salted butter. I feel that's a game changer. It just really brings out that butteriness and the flavor of the Rice Krispies better. Once it looks like this and everything is nice and melted, now we're going to go ahead and add in our dry cereal. You want to add in your dry cereal all at once. Once you add in your dry cereal, then what I do is I go ahead and turn my flame off and I start mixing and folding in the dry cereal with the marshmallows. You want to act quickly because there's two things that you want to do. One is you want to make sure that the dry cereal, your Rice Krispies, are totally covered with the marshmallows. You don't have any clumps of marshmallow or streaks of marshmallow, so you want to make sure everything is distributed evenly amongst your cereal. And also you want to do this while everything is still warm, because as it cools it will start to firm up and then it's much harder to work with. So once I've done that, I already have my pan is prepared. I have a 13x9 casserole dish, and then what I've done is I've put in some parchment paper. You can also use wax paper. You can also use foil as well. I've gone on and I've also buttered my paper as well. And so I've put some soft butter on it. Then I go ahead and I just shape and mold my Rice Krispie treats to the 13x9 pan. You want to push and be very firm and push and even everything out, so that way it's a nice even layer and not one side of the pan is higher and has more Rice Krispies in it than the other side. And so that has happened to me before. So you do want to work quickly. Now once I have everything in there, I take my nice clean hand and I put some butter on my fingertips and I continue to press and even out my Rice Krispie treats. Now once I'm done doing this, I'm going to actually take them and put them in the refrigerator. I'm going to let them firm up for about an hour or two. When they firm up in the refrigerator, it's going to be much easier to cut them. So my Rice Krispies are out of the refrigerator. They firmed up nicely, and you see the value of having them on that parchment paper. We could just lift them right out. We've also buttered the parchment paper. You can butter your foil or your wax paper, and it's just going to just a little bit of butter, just a thin layer. And so now I take my serrated knife, I just score, and I'm going to score and cut them. Now in the description box below, I will have a list of all the ingredients you need to make the sugar cookies, as well as the ingredients, of course, for the Rice Krispie treats. Now if you are new to my channel, welcome in. And if you're a returner, welcome back. And if you have subscribed to my channel, I thank you so much. I love to share my kitchen with all of you. So I hope you check out the rest of my content and some of my playlists and consider subscribing. Now once I have my Rice Krispies nice and cut, and definitely put them in the refrigerator, because see how they cut nice straight lines you're able to cut once they're nice and chilled. For my decorations, I'm going to be using meltables. So I've got the dark cocoa ones. I also have these are vanilla in flavor, but they're orange in color. They come in all different kind of colors, and I got these from the craft store. Michael's sells them, different craft stores sell them. I'm going to follow the directions on the back of the package. You melt them. My directions are you melt them at 50% power. They come out nice melted. You can use them to drizzle on the decoration on your Rice Krispies. You can also use them to dip your Rice Krispies as well. Now in addition to the melts, I also have some other decorations that I'm going to put on my Rice Krispies. I've got some Reese's Pieces. I also have some of this cookie icing. I can use that to stick on some of the eyeballs. I've got these little eyeballs here, these edible eyeballs. I thought the boys really like those. So I'm going to put some edible eyeballs on. I'm going to make some of the Rice Krispies look like Frankenstein and just do like a nice zigzag and crisscross pattern. And when it comes to the decoration, you can decorate them however you like. These are also great if you want to take them and wrap them in goodie bags if you're going to have a party, because your meltables will dry. As they dry, they will harden, and so that way it's easy for you to put them in a goodie bag with ribbon on it. Once I have all these decorated, I'm going to set them aside so that way they can finish firming up. You can also put them in the refrigerator. I've done that where I'll just put them in the refrigerator, let them firm up, and they dry to and they harden to a nice still glossy finish, which is great. Our cookie dough is nice and firm. I took it out of the refrigerator. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on my working surface. We're going to roll out our cookie dough. I'm just going to roll it out to about an inch thickness, and that would be if you took about, say, maybe about 3/4, and you stacked them up together, about that thickness, right about that thickness. And so I'm just going to make round circles with mine. This is great if you also want to do different types of cutouts. If you want to do cats, if you want to do a pumpkin, this will work really good. And so, but I'm just going to do quick circles. The boys should be here pretty soon, and so I want to get these going, and then so that way they can also cool. Now for our cookies, we're going to bake them in the oven at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes, and we're going to end up with about a dozen. You can double the recipe for more, and depending on the shape and size of your cutouts that you're doing, you'll get a little bit more or a little bit less. I did this recipe also several years back for my niece's quinceañera, and I made some beautiful dress cutouts. So it was a cutout, a cookie cutter that I used that was a dress, and it was beautiful. And then I decorated it with her colors of her quinceañera, and those cookies, they were wonderful. And so you can definitely, like I was talking about, it's multi-use for this recipe. Well, our cookies are out of the oven. They have baked up nicely. They baked for 11 minutes. They are nice and firm. How you know your cookies are ready is that you see how nice and light and firm. So the cookies will be a beautiful, just a soft tan around the edges and a soft tan on the bottom. I've let them cool. I'm going to go ahead and decorate these. This is what they're looking like so far. I'm going to put some finishing touches on the cookies before my nephews come, but let's go ahead and give everything a try. This first bite's for you. Now let me take my bite and see how we did. It tastes like Halloween, y'all. The boys are going to love these. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and try a cookie. Go ahead and take your bite. Now I'm going to take my bite. I love these cookies. Well, that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed spending some time with me in my kitchen. I hope you and your family have a safe and wonderful, happy Halloween. And comment down below and let me know, what do you plan on being for Halloween? I think I'm going to dress in vintage 1980 something for my costume. Be sure to hit that like button, click share this video with a friend or family, and remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.